Excited to visit right now with Dr. Dan from Sioux Falls Hypnosis with a bigger picture. How are you, sir?
I'm good, and you?
I'm fantastic. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
And you were sharing a little bit about a quote, so you're going to quote somebody today.
We were talking about Nietzsche, because we sit around and we discuss things that here.
Well, I love to discuss, so instead of just like shooting from the hip and, diving right in, we chat a little bit. Yeah. But then I always feel like, if we talk too much ahead of time, there's nothing good left for the program. So
we were talking about, you were saying, do you have a cause? Do you have some, and that's something that I hear a lot.
Yeah.
Things that are really important to people.
Yeah.
I mean, something you might have heard about in the news lately that, things like, dogs, puppies.
Yeah, that's been
in the news.
Especially in the state of South Dakota.
Right. So the interesting thing about this is, so that led to that quote from Nietzsche that, when you're fighting monsters, be careful that you don't become one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because that's the problem with a cause or something that's really important to you.
Yeah.
Whatever you are, and I always warn people, anything that you're self-righteous about, you need to pull the reins back on that because you're probably in a gray area. Because the interesting thing about this is the opposite of a monster isn't a hero.
Oh.
The opposite of a monster is another monster.
Oh, I suppose, yeah.
Does that make sense when you think about it?
It's just an equal but opposite monster.
Right. You're a monster, but it's you can go the other way and become just as problematic in a very different way. And this is, and I think it's something that people need to think about when you're, whatever is important to you, whatever that cause is, whatever that issue is, whatever, if the more important it is to you, the more you need to stop and think about this because very frequently, I mean, we all know people who something that's very important to them, but they're very difficult to deal with regarding that topic.
Oh, yeah.
They can be kind of inflexible. They can be kind of judgmental.
Yeah.
They can be kind of hostile. They can be aggressive. This is the opposite of something.
Almost militant.
Right. It's something that started out as a positive that is slowly becoming a monster.
Yeah.
Just of a different flavor.
Yeah.
And it's something we all need to think about because that idea that, again, the opposite of a monster is not a hero.
Yeah.
It's just another monster. And if you want to be useful, if you want to bring something useful to the world, to others, to whatever this mission you have is, the thing to think about is you're probably going to have to find a place in the middle.
Yeah,
you're going to have to be flexible. You're going to have to negotiate. You're going to have to, and this is a bad word now, but you're going to have to compromise.
Ooh, don't say those naughty words.
Right. None of us should have to compromise with anybody else. And I realize that there are things that are important, but we're a whole bunch of people living on the same speck of dirt, rolling around in the same corner of the galaxy. And we either figure out how to compromise or we accomplish nothing. We're just monsters to one another. That's all we are.
I've gotten really good at compromising, but for the right things and for the right person. So I compromise with my beautiful bride, Heidi, all the time.
Wonderful gal.
Because there are times, we've been married 24 years now, and there are times where I think about whatever it is that we're disagreeing about. It's usually some silly thing like the color that we're going to paint a room or something. And I remember, not the house we're in now, but the house before this, she asked me, which color should we paint this? And she had a painting there. And she goes, this orange color or this blue color? And I go, I don't know. Is there a right answer here? And she goes, well, which one do you think? And I go, I don't know. I kind of like the blue. So she paints it blue. And then 2 weeks later, she repaints it orange. And I was like, did I really have a choice? And I was like, you know what? It didn't take any extra effort from me.
Yeah.
It was extra effort from her. And I told her, I was like, you could have just painted it whatever color. I'm like, it doesn't matter. But I quite often, I have to think, is it going to affect me either way, really? Because most of the time, the dumb things we fight about, I compromise very quickly because I'm like, you know what? It doesn't even matter, really.
It's that anytime you're in it, anytime it's about you. Man, anytime that's that whole danger of self-righteousness. Yeah. Anytime you've made this about you, you're probably in a gray area, and you're gonna struggle in that place.
Yeah.
And so don't become a monster.
Yeah.
Be flexible. Be willing to compromise. Realize that it's not about you. That you're gonna have to give a little. That used to be common sense.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to give a little. You are not going to get everything you want at any point in time. And you have to, in order to be a mature adult in the world, you gotta be all right with that. I mean, really okay.
Yeah.
I won't get everything I want. It won't work out the way I want it to work out entirely. I'll get some of what I want, but the other person's going to have to get some of what they want too in order to keep this little engine moving.
And I've heard the phrase, you got to lose some battles to win the war. So I think that's the same concept.
Right. And this one, and you've heard it in others, pick the hill you want to die on.
Oh, yeah.
The idea is don't die on anything.
Yeah.
And then live to see tomorrow and go on and make something useful and creative.
Absolutely. I love that. And we're sneaking right up on summer here. I can't believe how quickly this year has gone. If somebody listening is going, hey, I want to look good in my swimming suit this year, or maybe they're thinking, I just pulled out my winter, or I got my winter wardrobe put away and pulled out my summer wardrobe, and somehow it shrunk over the winter. If they would like help utilizing hypnosis for weight loss, which we've been utilizing and love it. And again, it's been phenomenal. If somebody listening would like help with that, how do they get a hold of you? What's the next step for them?
Well, you can find us on the net at SiouxFallsHypnosis.com. You can also call directly at 605-702-6691. You'll also see me on Facebook. You can Sioux Falls Hypnosis.
Yeah.
You can find on TikTok, all the social media
He's
stuff
everywhere.
The kids are using now.
And if you also are maybe catching the tail end of this on the radio and you'd like to hear what we were talking about before you showed up, you can find it as a podcast as well at SiouxFallsPodcast.com.